An army without supplies is already defeated. An army without any way of escape is doomed. This is what has happened in the Russian-Ukrainian war. Reports are emerging that thousands of Russian soldiers are encircled by Ukraine's Azov Corps in Pokrovsk. This is Russia's worst military disaster. Commanders pushed their men forward thinking Ukraine on the back foot, but what Ukraine did next was beyond Russia's imagination. Soldiers were caught in a tightening encirclement with no way to escape. This disaster is not another battlefield clash, not another artillery duel or contested village. It is a dramatic moment that can change the direction of the war entirely. So, today we are unfolding the encirclement of Russian soldiers, how it happened, and why it may be remembered as Russia's worst military disaster since the war began. For months, the Russian-Ukraine war has been characterized as slow, grinding, and positional. Both sides have advanced further, striking each other but making little or no progress. People have wondered about the capacity of both countries to shift the balance of the war, whether Russia would be able to advance further or Ukraine would break through the Russian lines. The question has lingered in several minds, but what has happened recently suggests that Ukraine not only has the ability to break through, it can also trap and destroy Russia's most important fighting units. Before this encirclement, it was thought that Ukraine might fall back. Russian columns moved forward confidently. To Moscow, it seemed that the momentum had shifted to their side. Progress was observed, which gave the commanders enough confidence to move further. But Russians did not know that they were going to be caught in a trap with almost no escape. With every further step, they moved deeper into the Ukrainian territory that was being tracked, measured, and allowed. This Russian advancement was not a setback for Ukraine. It was a bait by Ukraine. Ukrainian intelligence knew this move. With drones, survey teams, and satellite data, they monitored the Russian advancement closely. They noticed every strength and every weakness of the Russian troop. But they kept patience. They let their enemy believe that they are winning because they knew that when overconfidence blinds a commander, mistakes happen. And in modern-day war, mistakes are fatal. The trap set by Ukraine was not a single battle. It was designed in weeks with patience, precision, and deception. This trap was a massive pocket planned for Russian advancements. A pocket is one of the most disastrous situations in warfare. When an army is surrounded, it is in the worst war scenario. It loses its ability to retreat, resupply, and maneuver. Its connections are completely cut off and it is left to perish under immense pressure. This is what has happened with Russian advancements. They are completely trapped inside a pocket. Their supply lines are cut off, their escape routes are sealed off, and they are completely encircled along with their tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles. This achievement of Ukraine is a story of patience and perfect execution. They did not attack Russian troops directly. They waited for them, patiently and quietly, to be caught in a trap with no escape. They looked for the right opportunities and executed their plans accordingly. They used drones for guidance. With every step, they became closer to achieving what was desired. And with all these efforts, they became successful in isolating almost 3,000 Russian soldiers. Just imagine the condition of those soldiers who are caught in this encirclement. They have no connection with their command. Their radios are not working. Their fuel supplies are diminishing. And their ammunition is limited. It's like they are trapped inside a room with just long walls and no exit door. And even if there is an exit door, it only leads to death. They can just move inside this room, but a single step towards the outside would prove fatal, lethal, and disastrous. But why are they unable to move? Because drone surveillance and artillery fire are everywhere around them. A single step taken outside of this encirclement would be met with them, leading to another disaster. They are on target every second. No help is able to reach them. Helicopters cannot land there. Supply trucks cannot reach there. Their morale is crumbling. Whispers of despair are everywhere. They are facing hunger, thirst, and exhaustion. They have been asked to hold on, but how long can they do this? How long can they fight without supplies? For Russia, it is not just a setback, it is a humiliation. It is a demonstration of their weaknesses. They thought they were the most powerful. They believed themselves to be invincible. They thought that they would write their destiny with their own hands, in a way that the world would wonder. But destiny has other plans for them. Ukraine's intelligence has other plans for them, and they were proved wrong. Their weaknesses got exposed. Their very image of strength turned into vulnerability. On the other hand, for Ukraine, it has proved the biggest success in the war. It has shown its abilities on the battlefield. It has shown its people, its allies, and its enemies what it is capable of. And it can be said here that history actually repeats itself. This encirclement of Russian soldiers by Ukraine is not a single incident of its kind. History has shown it again and again. Soldiers' encirclement and their tough survival after that are clearly evident from historical pages. One such example was seen at Stalingrad in 1942 when Hitler's army was encircled by the Soviet forces. As Hitler's army pushed deeper into the city, Soviet forces struck, trapping almost 250,000 soldiers. Their supplies were cut off completely. They starved in freezing temperatures and slowly collapsed. And after some months, almost 91,000 soldiers surrendered, marking one of Germany's greatest military disasters and proving that an encircled army is already defeated. They just take some time to accept their defeat and surrender. The same thing has happened with Russian troops. Their machinery is trapped. Their tank bridges and artillery are trapped. They have no way out. They are already defeated. They are just taking time to accept it. But the real question is, once they accept their defeat, would they surrender or still choose to fight? To the observing eye, the answer does not seem clear till now. Observers are just wondering what consequences this encirclement would bring in the coming days. For Russia, the situation is worse, and for Ukraine, it is the best thing that has happened since the war began. But for Russia, this is not just a disaster on the battlefield. Such news has spread chaos among the people. It has sent shockwaves across the country. Everyone is questioning the power of the country. People are wondering how such a powerful military nation can fall prey to such a trap. Even in political terms, the consequences of this military disaster can be severe. It can raise problems for President Putin. Veterans will whisper about the failures of leadership. Families will ask questions about their missing sons, leading to an emotional breakdown in the country. This may lead to a disaster that would not be on the battlefield but inside the country. Hence, for Putin, this is not just a military problem. It is a personal one. But for Ukraine, this Russian troops' encirclement has been a boost to their morale. Victories create confidence, and this is a definite Ukraine victory. It has strengthened their belief in themselves. It will give them enough confidence to advance further with more power and strength. Now, in further advancements, doubts would be limited and encouragements would be higher. Ukraine has a perfect chance to further show the world what it is capable of. But here are the million-dollar questions now. What happens next? What will be the next step for the Russian army? Will they be able to break through the Ukrainian lines, which will demand a lot of power, precision, and confidence? Will they be able to execute their plans with full coordination, timing, and strength? Or will Moscow send help to these trapped units? But it would be foolish to ignore that reinforcements would also risk throwing more soldiers and vehicles into a battle that is already turning into a disaster. The condition of soldiers here is very crucial. They are in a state with nowhere to go. They cannot fight. They cannot escape. They are left with no choice at all. Their fate is written, but in what way is still unknown. Ukrainian forces are waiting for them to surrender. The Russian army wants to do something exceptional to help them out of the situation. Families are waiting for their sons. The nation is waiting for its soldiers. But no one knows what will happen in the coming days. The situation remains ambiguous. But one thing is clear, that this is the worst military disaster for Russia. They are dealing with a catastrophic situation right now, not only on the battlefield but inside the country as well. The president is facing some serious backlash over this, leading to political tensions. People are raising questions about the million-dollar agencies and high-quality machinery. On one side, the country's soldiers are on the thin line between disaster and survival, and on the other side, the country's people are in complete chaos. Russian intelligence has been exposed. Their weaknesses are evident. They have clearly shown loopholes in the system. But who is facing the consequences? The soldiers who are trapped inside the pocket, perfectly set up by Ukraine. On the other hand, it has given Ukraine an upper hand in the war. They are now advancing further. In a recent counteroffensive near the contested city of Pokrovsk, Ukrainian forces have liberated 175 square kilometers that were trapped by Russian forces earlier. Over the past month, several casualties have been reported among the Russian troops during these counteroffensives. According to some reports, Ukrainian forces have either destroyed or captured 969 units of Russian weaponry and military equipment. This is proving to be a major setback for Russia and a great advancement for Ukraine. Now, Ukraine will not retreat. They will increase pressure on the encircled troops to surrender. They will do everything to keep them isolated. They will prevent all kinds of supplies using artillery, drones, and precision strikes. Russia will not be able to focus on one thing. On one side, they have to deal with ongoing Ukrainian advancements. And on the other side, they have to think about their encircled troops who need urgent attention. This is modern war. Unforgiving, relentless, and merciless. Russia's encirclement is more than a defeat on the battlefield. It is a reminder that with overconfidence and less precision, tables can turn at any point in the war. But for Ukraine, it is a confidence booster, and it may define the war's direction in the coming days. If this military disaster shook you a bit, like the video and subscribe to our channel. And do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments section.